Day.
It's election.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Judge.
Hey, Miss King.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little under the weather this morning, but we'll hang in there. Good morning, everyone. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210th District Court criminal docket for March 1st, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Pantoja, would you call our first case, please?
Yes, Judge. Moreno on page 3.
Okay.
It's cause number 2019-0D01765. State of Texas versus Jeronimo Robert Moreno. Announcement of counsel, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Jose Trichet for Mr. Moreno. Your Honor, we're ready this morning.
And we are set for a final hearing plea deadline. What is the rec, Ms. King?
Your Honor, it is pulling out. I apologize. Let's see. It was going to be 5 deferred with restitution, and I believe the restitution was 9,511.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've conveyed that rec to my client. At this point, he does not feel like he should. He has any restitution due. Long story, but this is an old case. It came that close to being dismissed, and then because they couldn't find a complaining witness for a very long time, and then all of a sudden she popped up. But I don't know what the latest contact has been. But at this point, my client is willing to go to trial on this case, Your Honor.
Okay. I think I'm not sure what issue there is. What I think we will do is then set, because we do not have jury panels for this week, Judge, is set you at our next trial setting, which will be August 12th. So we'll go with that trial setting, give you a new slate of dates. I don't know if there are any issues that will require a hearing, but if there are, please let us know via email. I will advise everyone, we're in the process of transitioning to a new general court email. So in the interim, if you will email documents to Mr. Brackeen, if you will put your email in the chat. I know he was here covering over the end of the year, so please forward to that, and we will keep everyone apprised of the new court email that everyone can use to send any document requiring a hearing. The email is there in the chat. But if anything requires an email, I don't know what where we'll be in August in terms of trial protocol, Judge. But hopefully, I know we do have panels if we're still in COVID protocol. We do have panels for that date. But if we're not, and if we're in regular protocol, great, even better. So we'll get you a trial setting with interim dates, okay?
And Your Honor, this email thing, where is that being posted somewhere?
It's on the chat. So the email is c.brackeen, BRACKEEN @epcounty.com.
And that would be to communicate with the court, Your Honor?
That is correct. You can still copy me on it if you'd like. We are in the process, ITD is in the process of setting up a general 210th DC email, but I don't have confirmation yet that has been set up. So in the interim, Mr. Brackeen is the court coordinator.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Your Honor. The only thing I know how to use is the toaster. Anything beyond that, I haven't set information now. So, okay.
Well, you can call the court if you have any questions, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Take care.
Be excused, Your Honor?
You may. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Who's next, Chuy?
Okay, Judge. Ibarra, page 2.
Go ahead.
It's cause number 2021-0D01353. State of Texas versus David Ibarra. Announcement of counsel, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Good morning, Your Honor. Samuel Flores for Mr. Ibarra.
Okay, also a final hearing plea deadline, Ms. King.
Your Honor, this is going to be actually reduced to Class A and a 20 months AP.
Okay. Mr. Flores?
Judge, I believe this should be a plea. I emailed the watch. I sent a chat here to Ms. King. I saw in the plea papers that you're including 10 days COP time. 10 days. I don't know if we can get rid of that. I mean, he served a month and a half in jail in October, from October to like almost December on a PR violation. He lost his job and now he has a new job. Just trying to get this best behind, his back and see if we can avoid that. It's 20 months, hefty fine, a lot of community service hours. We do appreciate the misdemeanor though.
Statutorily, I would have to reduce it to a class B. At this point, I will defer to the court on this.
So I'm not sure, is this a first or a second? I mean, I
It's
know it's a DWI with a child, but what is it?
Oh,
It's going to be a class DWI second.
It's a second, okay. So I would do the ACOP, whatever applies. I don't know, how many is it? Is it 3 or 5? How many is it?
I believe it's going to be 5 if it's more than, or if it's within 3
Mhm.
years from the last conviction. The last conviction was,
So whatever is required by statute, unless they're looking to plead it down even further, Mr. Flores.
okay.
So that's what the court is agreeable.
So I need to convince Ms. King for a B, I guess.
That's what it sounds like.
that'll be
So-
fine with me.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm gonna set you for a status in 2 weeks. Let me see where that puts us. Yeah, no, that'll work. On March 15th. We're anticipating by that date, you will have plea papers returned. And what I anticipate we will have is, well, how quickly can you get them to us, Mr. Flores?
This afternoon.
Okay, so if you think you can get them back to us this week, then we'll do 1 week out. How is that?
That works, Judge.
Okay,
I'll be out next Thursday and Friday though.
okay, so we'll do March 8th, a status at 9 a.m. And then we'll have a backup of a plea at between the 1:30, 3 o'clock time for the pleas at the police center. So if we have the plea papers, everything squared away, it's no morning setting, it's the afternoon setting. If we don't have the plea papers, we'll see you in the morning and see what's going on. So it'll be March 8th. Okay,
Yes, Judge.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who's next, Tree?
Okay, Judge Martinez, page 2 as well.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2021-0D01084, State of Texas versus Fernando Martinez. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Alyssa on behalf of Mr. Martinez, Your Honor.
Good morning. Final hearing plea deadline, Ms. King.
Your Honor, I believe it's going to be 5 AP.
Okay,
And we did send the plea paperwork. Or
Right.
we
So
did
let's-
not. I apologize.
Yes, Your Honor, the only thing is when I was negotiating this with Mr. Avila, I wasn't aware of any restitution. My understanding was there wasn't any, but I just got informed that there might be some. Because I had requested the plea paperwork back in December and again in February. So is there a restitution or no? Because then I do need to speak to my client.
Mhm, mhm.
Your Honor, there is a restitution and I believe it's 1,400.
Okay, what's the restitution for?
It was going to be, I believe it's a damage to the car, the complaining witness's car. I believe it was fixed in Mexico, so we did have to convert from pesos to US currency. And I believe that's why there was a delay.
Ms. Solis, had you been aware that there was, I mean, this isn't covered by insurance, anything like that?
No, Your Honor, and I wasn't aware of it because even in the portal recs and the conversations I had, there wasn't any indication of any restitution amount. So I know the probation terms I've already explained to them were fine. And that's why I did ask for the paperwork. I would just ask the court just for a chance to speak, see if anything was resolved, because this is kind of new information to me.
Sure. Ms. King, did you confirm when we found out about this restitution that there was no insurance that covered any damage to a vehicle?
Yes, Your Honor, we did. And I do have, I believe, the copies of the receipts up on portal. And this restitution actually is because of the motor vehicle accident that was caused by the defendant.
Miss Elise, I'm fine. You tell me what kind of timetable. I'm happy to give you 30 days. We can reset the final hearing plea deadline. If you don't think it takes that long, I can come back sooner. You tell me.
Only because I'm gonna start some juvenile. Do you mind 30 days? And then I could just.
Not at all. Let's come
Okay,
back. How about
thank you.
April 5th? We'll reset the final hearing plea deadline, anticipating that we will have a plea. And if we have an issue, I would ask though that, look into it sooner than later, because if we have some kind of issue on the restitution and we need to kind of work through that, I would appreciate it if you all would kind of go through that legwork before the April.
I will,
1st.
Your Honor.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so reset that for April 5th. All righty. Who's
Thank you.
next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge Garcia, page 2.
Okay, go ahead.
It's cause number 2021-000-1351, State of Texas versus Albino Garcia. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Deborah Bobbin for Mr. Garcia. Ready, Your Honor?
Good morning. Final hearing plea deadline. Ms. King, what is the rec?
Your Honor, the rec was actually changed, so it will be 5 TDC with deadly or with weapon findings.
Okay, Ms. Bobbin.
Judge, it's a new offer. The last offer we had was to reduce to a terroristic threat credit per time served. Mr. Garcia has since been deported. I haven't been unable to speak to him. And that's a new rec that I'm hearing right now.
Okay, so fair to say, Chewy, he didn't check in. I don't recall the list.
No, he didn't, Judge.
Okay. So Missy Bobbin, when was the last time you all have had contact with him?
I believe it was earlier this year when he was still in custody. He was in our county jail. He was released after he was sentenced to time served on an illegal reentry charge.
Okay. So I think ultimately what we'll have to do is I don't want to have to reset him, although technically we don't have any panels, he's on PR bond, right? Marissa, are you there?
Yes, Judge. I spoke with Mr. Gonzalez. I believe he provided you with a PR bond summary.
Let me double check that, because I did look at him, and if I'm not mistaken, everybody was compliant. If you talked to Mr. Gonzalez, is that what he told you? Let me go back in my emails.
Yes, he was compliant in as far as before he got arrested for the federal charge he had been reporting. He said that I think generally they wait 3 months after they've been released to a different jurisdiction before they say, if they have no contact, that he's not in compliance anymore.
Okay, well, for my purposes, he would be non-compliant for not checking in if we don't have him this week. So I'll get with PR then. If we know he's not coming back, then to me, it's kind of like, why wait? So we'll go ahead and have him be a no-show if he's not here today, get a violation notice from PR bond, and then just go from there. Wow, so it was at a terroristic threat and now we're at 5 TDC. Okay, well, thank you, Missy Bobbin.
Thank you, Judge.
What's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge Argueta, page 1.
Isn't that going to be a plea this afternoon? Or
It's
It's
not
actually
set
next
for this afternoon, Judge.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, it's cause number 2021-000-1305, State of Texas versus Natalia Argueta. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Deborah Bobbin for Ms. Argueta. We are ready, Your Honor.
Okay, final hearing plea deadline.
Your Honor, is going to be 3 deferred, and we did send the plea paperwork to Julia.
And that's been signed and it's been set for a plea for next Tuesday at 1:30.
Perfect. Thank you, ladies.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
You may. Thank you, Missy Bobbin. Who's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge Miranda, page 2.
Go ahead.
It's cause number 2019-000-6012, cause number 2021-000-0454, and cause number 2020-000-1157, State of Texas versus Elijah Andres Miranda. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
And Daniel Avalar for the defendant, Your Honor. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. So we're set, let's see, we're set for a status, but we have him set for a plea this afternoon. I don't recall seeing plea papers. What's going on with Mr. Miranda, Mr. Avalar?
Judge, we sent them last week.
Who did you send them to? Do we have them? I don't know. I don't recall seeing Mr. Miranda's plea papers.
I didn't receive them, Judge.
Your Honor, we sent them on February 15.
I know this one, I think we had the same situation last time and there was one holdup.
Judge, we sent them on Friday, the 25th. I personally explained them and I had my staff send them over, but I just confirmed that they did. So it was on the 25th.
Chewy, will you double check and maybe resend them to Chewy because I don't have them here. We have them set for a plea this afternoon. So is your client, he's ready to go this afternoon? I would like to have that happen so that we're not spinning our wheels.
Yes, ma'am. And Judge, as a heads up, I have an in-person on the 120th at 1:30.
Okay,
So I might be a few minutes
no
late.
worries. We'll work with you on that.
I appreciate that.
But I want to make sure I have plea papers. I don't have plea papers yet.
I'll take care of them.
Okay, yeah, make sure you get them to Chewy, okay?
You shall have them. Yes, ma'am.
All righty. All right, who's next, Chewy?
Mr. Campa on page 4, Judge. Let me bring him in. He's in the waiting room.
Okay.
He's connecting right now, Judge.
Campa?
Yes, Gerardo Campa, he's set for a probation status.
Carla, is there a report for Campa?
Yes, Your Honor, I emailed them Friday.
There it is. Oh my gosh, I think now that we have all this email adjustment, like I'm searching Campa and it gives me all kinds of other Campas and it doesn't give me your Campa. So I just found it on my
Okay,
own.
Judge, he's logged in and
Yes, I see him. Okay, give me a second to look at the report.
Did you find the email, Judge?
I did. Thank
Okay.
you. Is Mr. Eras here on that or?
No, Your Honor, I'm covering that one.
Okay. Let me look.
Carla, is it K Pineda?
That's
Yeah.
Carla.
Thank you.
All righty, let's get started.
Yes, Judge. It's cause number 2018-0D0-3091. Cause number 2022-0D0-0167, State of Texas versus Gerardo Escobedo Campa. Announcement of council, please.
Laura King for the state of Texas.
Daniel Avalar for Gerardo Campa, Judge.
All right, so we're set for a probation status hearing. So let me see. Has anybody had any discussions about Mr. Campa? Mr. Campa is not in custody. He is done poorly on probation. And I am looking at a report that's recommending, the department is recommending extending probation for the period of time for which he absconded, that he attend substance abuse assessment, and that he maintain a portable monitoring device. Have you all talked, Mr. Avalar, Ms. King? Ms. King has a lot of knowledge, has a lot of experience on our DWI folks. So I'd love to hear your input, Ms. King.
Me too.
Your Honor, I don't think we have talked. I do have a rec on there, and that's if we're extending, it will just be the 5 AP to run concurrent. If not, then it will be 2 TDC.
Okay, Mr. Avalar, have you talked to your client?
Yes, ma'am. No, not on specifics, and only because for the sole reason that we didn't have a recommendation the last time we were here, Judge. And so I think Ms. King was just wanting to evaluate the case so that she can give a recommendation. This is the first I hear of it, Judge. And so I'd want to see what Mr. Campa's thoughts are with regard to that.
So he was just on originally for a drug offense, right? He was never ordered to have a monitor before?
Before this court, that's correct. He was on probation for a DWI second.
Was he ordered to have a monitor there?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Mr. Campa is nodding yes, so I guess I stand corrected.
So, but I guess he doesn't have a monitor now, right? Because part of the conditions that they're recommending is that he be placed on a portable monitor.
Oh, I think he does have a monitor. Right, Mr. Campa? Okay.
Okay.
IVP with extension.
And Your Honor, I believe this is a true third.
Yes.
And blood was 0.109.
So wait a minute. Yeah.
Is it charged as with the child passenger, or I don't have the indictment in front of me. It's just a third, right?
All right. Are you able to see that, Carla? Are you able to see the type of monitor? Maybe if he's on sub.
Your Honor, the only thing I'm trying to see about the misdemeanor case, but the only issue that I'm foreseeing already is he stopped reporting. And then his case expired. So let me just double check on the misdemeanor as far as the term. dates. And then I will give you the information as what monitor he had.
Okay. Other, let's see.
The DWI second, Your Honor, that he was on probation for, that one, the term was from April 8th, 2019 to April 7th, 2020. So it's been expired. I'm thinking they're still pending a rebel in that court. But let me just double check on the monitor that he had.
So he's saying he has a monitor, but if he does, it's coming from the misdemeanor?
No, Judge, I think Her Honor ordered it. Mr. Campa, I know you're trying to speak, but you're on mute. It's all right. We got it.
So I'm not understanding, I guess, here's what I'm thinking. I'm not understanding why we're gonna put him on probation. That's what I'm not understanding, since he's never really done probation.
Because of the length of the absconding?
Yeah, and the non-compliance and the rearrests and all those things.
He was in custody for over 2 months, Your Honor, before Your Honor finally agreed to cut him loose, or somebody agreed to cut him loose.
I think I gave him what, a $50,000 bond? Is that what the report says?
10,000.
Your Honor,
10,000
you
cash.
did let him out on a corporate surety bond. It was a 50,000. There's no PR conditions on that.
Mhm.
Just because I know the case summary is looking messy. So the first MTAG
Mhm.
was 12/19 of 2019.
Mhm.
He was picked up right at the beginning of COVID.
Mhm.
And so he was put on a PR bond by Judge Garcia.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. It was
And
in.
we didn't pick him up. We didn't know about him until July,
Mhm.
at which point that motion was dismissed.
Mhm.
And then a second motion was opened September of 2020. That one stayed open, also with a bench warrant out because he had been released previously on a PR bond. A bench warrant was sent. And so it kind of threw off the timeline there, but the second motion's open, at which point he allegedly picks up the DWI and the state files a third motion, but a third motion to adjudicate, but it's not listed as a third motion because the second motion never got closed, nor did the bench warrant because he was out.
That's right.
He was riding around with a warrant.
Yes, and then when he was picked up, we got a warrant return December 21st of 2021. There was a bond hearing and you did order a surety bond on 1/18 of 2022.
For 50,000.
Mhm.
Yes.
And he got
Your
out.
Honor,
Mhm.
and as far as the misdemeanor probation case, which is out of CC7,
Mhm.
the motion to revoke on that particular case was filed on August 20th, 2019. He was placed on probation April 2019. So it doesn't seem like he ever reported for the DWI second probation.
Yeah, he doesn't do probation.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So why are we messing around with this? Why did he bother bonding out? Why did he just stay in jail, do his 2 TDC? Yes, do.
I'll go over it, Judge.
And if I may just remind the court again, our probation case, our felony case, did term April 18, 2021. If
Right.
the court were to want to extend Mr. Campa, we would have to extend him before the anniversary date
In other
of
words,
this year,
this
upcoming
month
April
sometime.
18, 2022.
Why do you want to do probation, Mr. Campa? You never wanted to do it. You've never wanted to do probation. You're muted.
Mr. Campa,
So.
you've been on mute.
So, Mr. Avalar, how much background do you have rather than let your client talk? I mean, I just don't really see any point in going
Yeah.
to probation.
Is the mute off? Sorry.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know if your attorney wants you to talk.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a solid reason for the absconding judge, but I mean, he does have
It's
family around.
multiple. It's
Right.
multiple, and this is no compliance, nowhere. You know,
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
know.
Judge, I would, if the court would allow me, I'd rather have a sit down with Mr. Campa to see where realistically he's at. I know where the court's leaning, Judge. I'd like the opportunity to talk to him.
1 week. We'll come back in
Yes,
1 week for a probation
ma'am.
status hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, who's next?
Okay, Judge, on page 5, Roman.
Go ahead.
It's cause number 2017-0D0-0480. State of Texas versus George Luis Roman. Announcement of council, please.
Oh, a king for the state of Texas.
And Daniel Avalar for George Roman.
Give me 1 second here. My screen's up. All right, probation status hearing. Hi, Mr. Avalar, you have all of them today.
Yes, ma'am. Just, this is my last one, I hope.
Okay.
I think this one might be a little easier to swallow though, Judge.
Okay, tell me about it.
Well, he's, we don't have he picked up a new assault family violence, Your Honor, which
Mhm.
I think is still in screening. And so the issue the last time in February was that there will be a violation notice to be filed, but KPS won't issue because Ms. Nieto had informed us that he had already bonded out on that bench warrant, on a bench warrant. So the court said, I'll kind of cut him some slack and we won't issue a bench warrant. But the issue is that new AFV. And so we're kind of wondering where that's at.
Ms. King?
Your Honor, I believe that's in screening and I see 2 AFVs.
Lovely.
What can you tell me about those 2?
Pulling it up.
I think one was declined, Ro.
Let me make sure.
Are we talking like same incident, different victims, or?
Different incidents. I don't see which one declined one.
I think it's going to be a misdemeanor assault.
Okay, so yes, you are correct. The one that ends in 186, that one was declined or dismissed. So we have one outstanding one. I don't think it's the same person.
On the motion, it lists an October 2021 AFV, a May 2021 AFV.
I actually don't see a victim's name on the one that was declined, but we do have one that is in screening.
Okay. And the one that's in screening, okay, so it's not even been accepted yet, right?
Correct.
Okay, it's not filed yet. All right. So we can check on this. The motion's been filed. We can check on this in 60 days, probation status in 60 days. Okay,
And of course.
gracias.
Thank you, Judge.
right.
I think that's it. Right,
Chuy?
Chuy?
I think
Is it good to go?
you had one other one, Mr. Avelar. If you all have subbed in on Jesse Herrera on page 2, it's set for an arraignment, Judge.
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry, I apologize. We did submit the waiver, but I'm here, Your Honor.
Okay, do we have the paperwork? Should we?
That's an arraignment, Judge.
Okay, do we have our paperwork?
Let me double check.
Your Honor, I haven't put a rec on this one just yet because there is also a pending AFE file.
A pending what now?
AFE.
The arraignment paperwork has been submitted, Judge.
Okay, good to go.
Okay.
No rec, Mr. Avalar, thank you very much.
Understand? Yes, ma'am. Take care. Bye.
This next, Jude.
Okay, Ernesto Ramirez, Judge, on page 5, and he's coming into the Zoom meeting.
Ernesto Ramirez.
Okay, Judge, he's in.
Okay,
It's cause number 2021-0D00847, State of Texas versus Ernesto Ramirez. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Elia Garcia, on behalf of Mr. Ramirez, we are ready, Your Honor.
good morning, and Mr. Ramirez is also appearing remotely. Give me 1 second. I see we're set for an admonishment. I was looking for an email, but that might take forever. Ms. Alanda, you're here for the admonishment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, what's going on with Mr. Ramirez?
Your Honor, Mr. Ramirez is on for a DWI third or more. This is the email that I sent where I checked his compliance with Lifesaver for the past month. He has about 15 skips, Your Honor. He also has 2 positive UAs for cocaine and THC. Now, he had been warned about skips before. He told me that he has been skipping because he suffers from insomnia and PTSD. He also admitted to smoking marijuana to help with his insomnia and PTSD. Advised me that he has stopped smoking, but he has not admitted to using cocaine. Now,
What did you say right there? It's there's a little bit of feedback. He has not admitted, or he has now admitted?
he has not admitted to using cocaine.
Not. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, I did ask him if he was seeing anybody for his mental health for the PTSD. He said no in January. However, he has obtained a appointment with the VA for mental health counseling, and his appointment is March 10th at 10 a.m. He was also assessed for TAP on December 10th and was referred to the VA to complete SOP treatment. I followed up with him in January and he had not scheduled anything. So I advised him that he needed to do it immediately. Since then, Your Honor, he has had an appointment to be assessed for the substance use disorder class with the VA. And he was actually accepted on the 24th. And he is just waiting to hear back on future appointments so he can start his classes. Now, other than the skips and the UAs, Your Honor, he has registered for VIP and is set to take it in March. He has not registered for DWI education for repeat offenders. He has paid off his court costs, but is still missing probation fees and community service hours.
Okay. How much are his probation fees?
They are $60 a month for a total of $2,930.
I'm sorry, they're how much a month?
$60 a month.
Okay, has he been evaluated? Is there any kind of financial, I'm not sure why Mr. Ramirez is shaking his head. Has there been any kind of financial assessment done? Do we know if he's under any kind of financial constraints?
He has not mentioned any financial constraints to me, Your Honor. He just finished paying off his court costs in the past couple of weeks. So that's maybe why he hasn't made any payments on probation fees. Hasn't mentioned anything to me about not being able to pay them.
Okay. All right, Ms. Garcia, what's going on?
Your Honor, this is the first time that I hear about this. All I can say on behalf of Mr. Ramirez is that when working with him, I have had no issues. He's always in constant communication and he always attends any meetings that I request of him. I can follow up with Ms. Alayandia to get him back on track. It seems to me like he has complied with some things. I do know that he's not very tech savvy, so I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the skips, but I can talk to him and try to get him back on track and get him something that he hasn't this far.
So my concern is obviously the potential that we have here for use, right? I mean, he's testing positive. The skips to me, it sounds to me like he has some issues. Sounds like he has some substance use issues, which have been identified through TAP, and that's why they've referred him to the VA. And it sounds like we're seeing the beginnings, right, of what, I mean, it sounds like they've identified the problems that we're seeing, right? The problems that we're seeing, which is substance use. I don't know if he's drinking, but he's clearly struggling. He's clearly struggling.
Judge, we
Mr.
had
Ramirez.
actually, we had actually applied to the VA probation, to the VA court, but he had already successfully completed that program and they wouldn't work with him again. I'm not sure if we can look at some other kind of resources through the VA. I know he'd like to attend there. And so maybe if he's able to work with other military personnel, it'll be a little bit easier for him.
So are you telling me he went through VA court already, Ms. Garcia? Yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
For what? So we have him on a DWI 3rd.
For a previous DWI, and he completed that successfully.
It was like a misdemeanor DWI, or is this like a 4th?
I believe it was a misdemeanor, but I'm not sure, Your Honor.
Do you know Ms. Layandia or Ms. King?
Your Honor, this is his 4th. I believe we are referring to the one in 2016, which was the misdemeanor.
But this is his 4th DWI?
Yes.
Okay. He's not driving, right, Ms. Alayandia?
No, Your Honor, he claims not to be driving. He says he gets rides from his girlfriend and friends.
Have we run him for tickets and stuff? I mean, he just pled in November. Look, this is really for your client's benefit. Thank you, Marissa. Ms. Garcia is, well, let me ask, Ms. Alayandia, what, I mean, it sounds like we're kind of at a cross point, right? We're at a point where we are looking at initial steps for treatment, but he's either gonna follow the treatment or he's gonna fall off track and there's gonna be a sanction. It's simple as that, Mr. Ramirez. You are either, you are having the option right now, and we are in the process of identifying resources to put towards your concerns, right? But if you do not take those, and if you slip up, you're gonna put me in a position where I'm gonna have to utilize the options I have, which are gonna be getting a handle on you, right? So I need you to work with the resources we have right now. And I'm going to ask probation to stay in touch, because I think it sounds like to me, VA is probably taking the lead on this, to look at and identify what needs you have and what resources they can put towards your needs. So you need to do and utilize whatever resources they have. Probation, if you have something else that you can complement with whatever VA is putting in terms of substance use, treatment, things of that nature, we need to quickly do that. But Mr. Ramirez, what I cannot ignore is continued non-compliance with your terms of probation. So that means if your probation officer continues to see that you are not compliant with the monitor, I'm going to continue to get those reports and you're going to continue to come here. And eventually that's going to mean at some point, if you're not compliant, I'm going to put you in jail, or I'm going to put you in a treatment center, something like that. Because at some point, if the resources that the VA provides you are not adequate to ensure that I am ensuring the safety of this community, yourself, anyone around you, then we have to go to more extreme measures. I'm sure you don't want that. And if you have an issue, a problem with drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, jail is not the solution. But when it comes to keeping the community safe, that's the option that I'm going to exercise, okay? I don't want to have to do that. You just pled in November, but you shouldn't be using, and you're testing positive. How else am I going to keep you from doing that unless you're getting the treatment and making the effort? Ms. Garcia, so your client knows I am more than willing to work with something that I think we're seeing the beginnings of, but I'm not going to wait that long. So then we're going to keep him on a tight leash. So you said in terms of a timetable, I saw something about March 10th. Is that his follow-up, his next follow-up appointment, Ms. Salayandia?
That is his initial intake appointment for mental health counseling.
So what else do we have in terms of his slates of appointments?
So he had his appointment for substance use, the substance use disorder class on the 24th.
24th.
Mr. Escalera has not given him any follow-up appointments. Now, again, that's a little concerning. He said Mr. Escalera was in a hurry. But last time I talked to Mr. Ramirez, he doesn't have any follow-up appointments. So those are the two appointments he has. Now, Your Honor.
He doesn't have to, right? He only has one, right?
Yeah, on March 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Your Honor, I do think he would benefit from intensive probation. I didn't know that he had done Veterans Court before, but there are also like substance abuse caseloads, maybe screen him for a DWI court if he's willing to participate. I just want to get ahead of any more potential issues.
I don't think one appointment, I don't know why he doesn't have follow-up appointments on that. What is it, the drug treatment? I don't know why he doesn't, but that's not going to cut it. And an intake appointment on the mental health end, I mean, that's great, but that doesn't seem to be some type of ongoing treatment that's going to carry him, over the next couple of weeks.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
I think he would benefit from CCR to DWI court. It is very intensive, and I believe he's, it's DWI number 4, so it's not too late. And I can see that he probably needs some of the intensive supervision.
How quickly can we get him screened?
From what I've heard, it takes 2 to 3 weeks, but.
Yes, it kind of depends on CCR2's schedule and when they can screen him. The important thing to remember about DWI court is he has to be willing to participate, Your Honor. Otherwise, immediately they'll reject his case.
Ms. Garcia, look, we're going to come back in 1 week. My thought is this, you as his attorney, probation can all, not have an intervention, but have a discussion. I think that's an option. I think I'm not real confident that, we can look at this from every angle, but I'm not feeling really good that one intake appointment on the mental health end through the VA is enough right now. Just the visual of him right now, he looks to me like he's struggling. And the report indicates to me that he's someone who is struggling. I don't even feel great having to wait 2 weeks to get him screened. We're going to come back in 1 week. I am at DWI court. So Ms. Garcia, I think you just froze, but if you can hear me, if you talk to your client, if he's agreeable to go that route, let's start it immediately. If they can take him in sooner, great. If he's not willing to go into DWI court, what other intensive programs do we have?
We can do the substance abuse case, Your Honor.
Okay.
And, he would qualify for that because of the possibilities.
So I'll say this, and Ms. Salayandia, if you will get in on this conversation very quickly. Meaning, do we know he'll do DWI court, yes or no? If it's a no, immediately goes into the intensive. Okay,
Your Honor, can we schedule his hearing on the 11th, just so that he can at least have already had his intake?
I just don't think that's gonna be enough, Ms. Garcia, because what that is, it's a mental health intake. If he's open to DWI screening, if it's a 2 to 3 week process, we should just start it. Now, if we find out from the mental health intake, there's this whole, menu of services that VA is going to offer him that is something that's acceptable, great. But we need to start processes now. So if at the end of the day, he doesn't end up doing DWI court, that's fine. But we need to start the process now if he's agreeable. I don't want to wait to find out on March 10th that that's not an acceptable solution or it's not enough. And we do need, so everything needs to get started right away.
So we would come back the 8th?
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, because I don't know about, mental health I feel like that sounds to me like it's one angle. You know what I mean? It's one aspect of it. And I don't know that it will be the full solution to his needs. So.
I wanted to be able to contact the VA and see what services they have, but I'll
And
go ahead.
why the other one on the drug angle, Ms. Garcia, why were there no follow-ups? Why did he have an appointment on the 24th and then no follow-up appointments? What's up with that? I don't understand that. So we'll come back 1 week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
You may. Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
I'm not the provider, I'm not the expert. I wouldn't know.
Who was that?
I believe that was Ms. Garcia, Judge.
Yeah, she was answering the question late.
Oh, that sounded weird. Okay. Who's next, Trudy?
Okay, Judge, Marcus on page 5.
Okay.
It's cause number 2020-0D05163. Cause number 2022-0D00328. State of Texas versus Omar Marquez. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Here for on behalf of Mr. Marcus. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. So,
Cases that were not indicted, I had sent a chat to Ms. King, and she says they were accepted, so we can find out where they're at right now.
okay, and I'm just looking at, I have, let's see, what cases were we outstanding? I'm seeing one ending 0328. That is set for a status conference today. What else were we outstanding?
There was an AFV, I believe, Your Honor, I think that was accepted. And Ms. King, what else do you show?
I believe that's the only thing I see. The AFE is going to be a misdemeanor. I believe it was just accepted today or this morning that we have a cause number, because of yesterday, I didn't see a cause number.
Is that the one ending 5? Yep, there it is, 549. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, I mean, we're on track. We have our trial, right?
We do, Your Honor, in August.
Okay, so are we good to go, or did you all need something from me?
No, I think we're good, Judge. I'll work. I don't know whether I was appointed on the misdemeanor or not. I'll find out. And if not, we'll get with the other attorney and we'll get it resolved. Now, I do show a judge's conference on 3/17, Judge. I have a vacation certificate in. I think I'd already mentioned to the court about that date anyway, so.
Okay. Well, if you all will take care of whatever you need to ahead of time, then we can just move on to the next setting.
Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You too.
Judge may be excused.
You may. Thank you. Who's next, Sri?
Okay, Judge Drew Alcava, page 5.
Go ahead.
It's cause number 2018-0D03021. State of Texas versus Javier Adrian Rubalcaba. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Eric Meza for the defense, Judge. We're ready to proceed.
Okay, and Mr. Rubalcaba is in custody. I mean, we have this scheduled for a revocation hearing. waiving your client's presence, Mr. Mesa. I think this
Yes,
was
Judge.
just kind of a follow-up, not a real revo. What are we doing on this one?
So Judge, I did just speak to my client recently last week. I did want to get with the state on a counter. I want to apologize. I was emailing the wrong person. I think I was emailing, I didn't know it was Ms. Roa King, so I can get with her. That explains why I didn't get a response. So
Okay.
I think we can work the kinks out. I think based on, the revocation, the MTR is pretty clear. And I think you had mentioned that you were thinking maybe 4 or 5 years or something like that on this guy. So I think it is probably a time wreck. I just wanted to work that out with the state. I don't think we're going to need a revocation hearing.
Okay. You want to go maybe for a status, or we'll do well, you tell me. Well, how much time do you think you need, Mr. Mesa?
To get with the state judge, I don't think too long. I would think maybe 3-4 weeks just to be safe.
Okay, so we'll do a reset of 30 days.
Okay. And I did get your email, so thank you very much.
Of course.
Thank you both.
Awesome. Thank you, Judge.
Take care.
You too.
Who's next, Tree?
Okay, Judge Villanueva on page 8,
Okay.
cause number 2020-0D04363. Cause number 2020-0D06556. State of Texas versus Rafael Villanueva. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
And that should be Mr. Welsh.
It is Mr. Welsh.
Mr. Welsh, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready to proceed.
Good morning. Okay, so we were originally set, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think there was some confusion. We were originally set at 3, or I think we had said 9 or 10, and then it was at 3, but I just want to be clear that you were okay proceeding at the morning, not the jail slot. And in fact, I think you all had requested that it be at the morning slot. Is that right, Mr. Welsh?
That's correct, Your Honor. We specifically requested a hearing without my client.
Understood. I thought that's how I read your email, so thank you very much. We are here for pre-trial 2801 motions and status conferences. How are we doing on these cases?
We're looking for an offer that my client can't refuse. We're looking for a time offer.
Okay, so Ms. King?
Your Honor, I spoke to Ms. Kate yesterday, co-counsel to Mr. Welsh, and we just kind of discussed the case. I did ask if he's currently taking any medications, and she let me know that she will look into that and get back to me. And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
As it stands, getting credit. So we're not in a big hurry because he's getting credit for this, and he could draw as much as 2 years. He's only got about 14 months in. But upon his release, we could arrange for him to get Social Security disability for mental illness. And I believe he does qualify for that, which would mean he would get Medicaid, doctor's appointments, medication, mental health type of medication, which he really needs. He doesn't want to fire me anymore, Judge.
That's good. That's good. Let me ask you, since it is our 2801, we have a jury trial scheduled for May 20th. We actually do have panels that day, Mr. Welsh, just FYI, okay?
Who cares? We're not going to trial on this thing. What, are you crazy?
I'm just letting you know.
He has seen the evidence. We're not going to trial on this. We'll just take a plea to the court, and you can give him the maximum sentence.
Well, I'm just letting you know because today is also our 2801 motions hearing status conference.
We're not going to do any of that. We're not going to do any trial preparation. This is a plea, and that's all there is to it.
I'm just making you aware of our schedule.
And of our position, Judge.
Okay, I also see that the schedule is also all at the 3 p.m. Setting which means, that's at the jail time. Are you asking that those be set in the morning instead of the 3 p.m. setting?
I think that'd be fine, Your Honor. And all we need is for Ms. King to get some information from us about his mental health status and for her to finish her evaluation of our, we're not requesting probation. He's really not a probation kind of guy.
Okay, so Mr. Brickeen, if you would, please, the final judges conference, if you will change that to 9 a.m. as well. That's on April 19th. And then Ms. King, I don't know if you will just look ahead and by that date, whatever information you all need. I didn't hear a rec today. So if there's going to be a rec, whatever defense is requesting or whatever you all need to consider, if there's going to be a rec, see if you can have it by that date. So we're not waiting until the trial or the final hearing plea deadline. Okay.
I will.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Walsh.
This is a very difficult case for the DA's office. And I think she needs to take all the time to get this lined up.
Understood. Thank you so much for your help, Mr. Walsh. Take care.
Thank you, Judge.
Take care. Bye-bye. Who's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge Herrera, page 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's cause number 2019-0D02086, State of Texas versus Daniel Herrera. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Lisa Caballero on behalf of Mr. Herrera, we're ready, Your Honor.
Good morning. So we're here, I believe, on a status conference. So we still maintain the 2 outstanding reports. Did anyone speak with the 384th between our last setting and today?
I didn't, sorry.
You didn't. So what I was thinking of proposing was this. Would anyone, I did not speak with the 384th. Is anyone, what are your thoughts on transferring this to the 384th? That primarily is to you, Ms. Caballero.
Yes. Judge, I think that's a good idea because they're uniquely set up to deal with all the varieties that these cases come in. And I think they know how to deal with an outpatient commitment issue.
I think that's the better solution. In fact, when I thought about having that conversation and the different concerns, I thought in discussing it with Judge Garcia, that's where I thought that conversation would end up. And so before I thought in ending that conversation that way, I wanted to discuss it with you. So I am still going to have that conversation, but wanted to broach it with you all first. Now that I've done that, anticipate that that's going to happen. I don't imagine that Judge Garcia would give us any pushback on that. So hopefully that will work much better. So thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
And maybe we can get this moving. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Who's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge, Mr. Yanez is here on our docket for Thursday, Saul Santana, that's set for an in-person revocation hearing.
Go ahead.
Yes, Judge. It's cause number 2016-0D00317, State of Texas versus Saul Santana. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Luis Yanez on behalf of Mr. Santana.
Good morning. And so this is the one everyone was asking about. Is it a revo? Is it contested revo, right? That's the one that there was a ton of questions about. Is that?
That was
it is, Your Honor.
Okay, so what are we doing? But this one is actually set on Thursday?
Judge, when the last time we heard this case was when I believe you were about to release him, and then we found out about.
Yes, and then the drug case from who knows where came up or something like that, right? So then we actually.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, on that date, I told the court that if it was going to be a contested revo, that I would need more time, and you said that you wouldn't have a problem with that because
Mhm.
I need to file some affidavits of business records.
Mhm.
I'm still waiting on an answer on my client this morning. He was supposed to give me an answer on how he wants to proceed, whether he wants to
Okay.
take the rec or the contested rebel. So I was asking to see if we can pass on this week's contested rebel hearing, Judge.
Of course. Of course. And so, but refresh my memory on this. What's the offer? Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it's 2 TDC.
Two? Okay. So
I was
look,
looking at the
we're
second
gonna set it for a pre-revo in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, by 2 weeks, I mean March 15th. Do you want that at the jail docket, Luis? Or do you want that, is that a good week or are you out on spring break?
On the 15th, Judge, yes, I'm gonna be with my daughter in Disneyland.
Okay. Okay, so can you do the 22nd?
I definitely can.
Okay, so we'll do the 22nd. And then I'll wait to set the revo until we know what your client wants to do. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes,
Okay,
thank
because
you.
if we do if we actually do a contested, then we'll do it in person and it won't be on our, we'll bring him in. We'll bring him into the court. Okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. So Chris will cancel the March 3rd.
May I be
Will do,
excused,
Judge.
Judge?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Yanez. Okay, who's next?
Okay, Judge, last one, page 5 is Adrian Nunez.
Okay.
I believe there was, according to Chris, that there was an email sent or a phone call received that Mr. Padra has a vacation certificate. I'm
Oh,
not sure about that.
okay. What's the deal on that? Is Chris there?
Sorry, Judge, just took a phone call. So the law office of Padra called stating that they had sent Sandra an email last week, letting them know that Mr. Padra had issued a certificate for vacation. Excuse me, I let her know that, you know, the obvious that we did not get that email. If he could jump on for the hearing, she said, no, ma'am.
Okay. So what's the issue, Mr. Eras? I see we're probation status hearing. Did we have an issue?
Yes, Judge. Good morning. This was just a follow-up from his last hearing that he had back in November.
Okay.
It was just said, 90 days out, more or less.
Uh-huh.
At that point for that hearing back on November, he went from weekly drug testing to twice, 2 times per month.
Mm-hmm.
And he was supposed to start with his counseling.
Mm-hmm.
He did provide me the information for Atlantis Health Services.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Nunez reports he's completed about 2-3 sessions with him.
Mm-hmm.
I've been calling him and I've been emailing him, trying to get information to see if he is attending. But all I get is answering machines. And when I call over there, the secretary, the individual that answers the phone, all he does is he just transfers me to the counselor. Yeah, he can't give me any information.
Okay.
So that's basically where we're at, Judge.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and Chris, when does Mr. Padra's vacation certificate expire?
Hold on 1 second, Judge. I just through March 25th, Judge.
Okay. So we'll come back on March 29th at 10 a.m. Mr. Eras, if you'll just send me an updated report for whatever information you have through that date. I don't need you to take the time if you don't, I know you're busy. Just send me an updated report so you don't have to actually be here. Make sure his attorney's here and see where we're at. Okay?
That's fine, Judge. Thank you. May I be excused?
You may. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you.
Mr.
Bye-bye.
Nunez, you'll have to be here on that date as well. Thank you. All right, who's next, Chuy? Is that everybody?
Judge, we just had 2 remaining cases. The Manuel Luna on page 2. We set for a final hearing plea deadline, and I have not received any plea paperwork on that one. That one's set at 1:30 as
Oh,
well.
that's weird. Yeah, that's weird that like his client had COVID, right? That, oh, we can get off of YouTube.